Hello and welcome to the Neurodivergent Social Work Voices campaign. I am Florence Smith, the Neurodivergent Social Worker and your host. If you've stopped in to listen, there must be a reason why. Maybe it's to listen to and learn from the first-hand experiences of neurodivergent, or as I like to call us, neurosparkly social workers, on how you can create a neuro-inclusive workplace. Or maybe you're seeking advice from other neurodivergent social workers about what works for them. Whatever your reason, it's nice to have you here, because for 1 month we will hear from 19 neurosparkly social workers. The conversations will explore 19 journeys, 19 unique neurological profiles, and 19 tips for other neurosparkly social workers. So, why has this campaign been launched? Well, it's been done with the vision to raise awareness, share knowledge, celebrate neurodivergence, as well as increase representation of neurosparkly social workers across the profession. You can find us everywhere from students, social work assistants, frontline professionals, educators, and managers. Today, I'm reading a submission from Eva, an ADHDer social work student and social work assistant. When we asked Eva what her neurotype is and how her brain sparkles, she told us that she has a combined type of ADHD and was diagnosed not long before she started in her current post in around 2018. Eva told us that she's currently working with older adults as a social work assistant, but she's also currently studying for her social work degree. When asked what the particular strengths were for Eva, she told us that she's good at connecting the dots, seeing the big picture and how things relate to and impact each other. She told us that she has a bit of a different perspective thanks to being neurodivergent, so sees things that aren't immediately obvious. Eva processes quickly, so this is very helpful in situations where snap decisions are needed. Eva has described herself as a master of disaster, as with ADHD, she finds that she does need those neurochemicals, and apologies for the cliche, but she does work well under pressure. Emergency situations are her thing. Eva told us that she also likes people, and she finds people just infinitely fascinating. She also thinks this is ADHD related, tenacity. Eva says that she keeps on getting up and going, and she sees this as a common trait for this neurotype. When asked how Eva has come to recognise her strengths, she told us that, firstly, she has had a very supportive work environment. Her managers have noticed what she's good at and nurtured those skills, which in turn did help her get confidence and acknowledge that there were things in this job that she's good at. Eva told us that she had also gotten good, consistent feedback from colleagues. Hearing someone else say that you're good at something, or even being asked advice or for a little bit of help because someone recognised your strength, can make the massive difference. Eva says that for her, it drives it home more than anything that maybe yourself having an inkling that you are doing something right. When I asked Eva how she leaned into her strength, she says, I do fall into a little rabbit hole of special interests as I make them known and my manager listens. Eva told us that her manager understands the way that her brain works and will try and allocate work to her that keeps her brain interested and keeps the chemicals pumping. Eva also says that she has a reputation for, which is rather unique in the team, but for liking to work on duty, and Eva thinks ADHD is very useful in crisis intervention because it helps her screen quick bits of intense work and information, so she will maybe cover duty more eagerly and more often than others. When Eva was asked about her experience of social work, she said that, interestingly, she thinks that ADHD has made her very certain that social work is for her, as attention is interest-based in ADHD, and she is still genuinely interested in working in the field. so much so that she's studying social work now. So in that way, she knows that it's for her. Eva said that she thinks that her ADHD is a bit of an empathy enhancer in practice because she knows what it's like to be a little bit outside of the system that you're then turning to for your needs to be met. Eva said that she's very fond of having creative and unique perspectives that ADHD brings. It's useful both at work and within her studies. Eva works well under pressure, which is great for work and for studying, although the latter is probably most pressure of her own making. Eva said she naturally gravitates to shorter, more intense bits of work and is good with rapid change. She's good with priorities changing very quickly and that sort of thing. Eva described herself as very much a dog with a bone. If something is bothering her, playing on her mind, or some information is missing, her hyperfocus will not shift until she has the answer, which is quite good sometimes in the professional curiosity and finding resources or solutions. When asked how she's found disclosing her neurodivergence to her employer, Eva said that it has been the best experience. She said she's been very lucky in that she had worked with her current manager in some capacity since she started her social work career, and they have a personal knowledge of ADHD. So from the get-go, they were very supportive and understood Eva's needs and strengths well, and this really helped to develop her in her role. Eva thinks it was the first workplace where she truly felt fully accepted and actually appreciated. Eva said, "I feel very lucky to have such a positive experience," and she doesn't think she'd still be in the role if it wasn't for her management team and her colleagues who support her daily. When I asked Eva what reasonable adjustments she currently has or has previously had, Eva said while she doesn't have any specific reasonable adjustments, she has mentioned how her manager and colleagues are very aware of her neurodivergence and how they support her, be it by allocation of cases that suit her better when possible or dividing workload according to strength. Eva thinks that in terms of building up her confidence, giving her tangible proof that I am good at my job, the simple act of not being set up to fail really did wonders, and that's why the aforementioned adjustments have supported her. I asked Eva what good or bad practice she has seen by employers, and Eva said that she has seen a great deal of good practice within her team, from management and from her peers. Eva said that there's genuine interest, willingness to learn, and to accept different styles of work, communication, and things like this. The fundamental acceptance and appreciation of difference is just there, and then you can build up on it. It's easy with that foundation. Eva said she has not seen bad practice from her social work colleagues, but she has encountered some very old-fashioned opinions from other professionals around ADHD, and she said it's quite upsetting in the context of the work that we do. I asked Eva what advice she would give to other social workers, and she said that she often has to remind herself that she does have a neurodivergence, that some things that she tries is harder or costs her more energy, and that she has to rest accordingly. She said let go of trying to measure yourself by neurotypical standards, because this helps to get rid of guilt and shame. Eva said, be honest, and she says this because she has an incredibly supportive team manager, so she feels safe to do so. But being honest when she's struggling, asking for help and asking for advice or a different perspective. Eva said she loves being neurodivergent because it makes her who she is, and she cannot separate her neurodivergence from her core self, because that is who she is. So that's her advice. Embrace who you are and find your people. Have time with other neurodivergent people. See what it's like to be you without any attempt at masking. And that helps to appreciate the less mainstream, useful traits and validates the ones that maybe are a little frowned upon in the wider world, the ones that make you you. Eva says that she doesn't think she would have done anything differently. She said she guesses that she does have some sadness around being diagnosed late, so if at all possible, if you have any influence of when you do it, try and do it sooner than later. Diagnosis can fundamentally change the way that you view yourself and your previous lived experiences. So, all that's left for me to say is thank you for giving your time and your submission to celebrate neurodivergence in social work and for sharing your lived experiences. And thank you to everyone who has listened today. If you're interested in learning more about neurodivergent social workers and neuroinclusion, please check out the Neurodivergent Social Worker website and the British Association of Social Workers Special Interest Group. The link to both the website and the Special Interest Group will be in the description below. Thank you again for listening, and goodbye.